Hey scrapbookers and crafters, this is Michelle here at michellesizemore.com. That has one L in my website link if you're looking for me. A lot of people put two L's, and so that's why I always say that, because you can't find me with two L's. I'm a creative memories advisor, and today you'll learn how to make this double page layout using our National Scrapbook Day 2025 Creative Memories collection. This is a really quick and easy layout. And I really tend to like quick and easy. So I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to show you everything that I used for this layout. I have it in this sort of temporary holding place in a Power Project sleeve. It opens at the top and on the side. It's closed at the bottom and on one other side. It's a great place to hold things for like one particular project. And then you can just take your stuff out, use it, and then fill it with what you need for the next page. I like to, if I'm going to a crop, sort of do a power layouts kind of idea where I have these stacked on each other with all the stuff in each one for a project. Okay, so let's start with the papers. I love these potted plants papers. And these are our background papers. Let's set this aside, and I used brown and yellow cardstock. This comes with the cardstock pack for this collection, and the green, and then this blue as well. All of these come in the cardstock sampler pack that goes with the National Scrapbook Day collection, and I used white ruled paper, and then I also used the other side of this paper for a little bitty thing I punched out. Okay, so let's get started here. The first thing I want to do is just cut my potted plants, and that is super easy to do. So I really just want to cut right along here below this little wood shelf, and then I get a little row of potted plants. So I'm going to grab my Creative Memories trimmer, pull my arm out, and make sure my little foot is flipped out so that everything stays level on my table. And this arm gives me some extra space to make sure my paper is straight. Okay, so I'm going to line it up here at the top, and then I'm going to move this over. And this left-hand side dotted line is where it's going to cut. And y'all, my left-hand side dotted line is starting to fade. I'm going to grab a new mat strip. Yeah, you get 4 flips out of this blade, this mat strip. And mine are all pretty faded because I've used it a lot. So it's really time to change. So I'm going to put in a new one, because you always need a good left-hand side dotted line. And actually, this one's not new. I've used it too. Here we go. You just stick it in here and rub it down. So I just need a good left-hand side dotted line right there. And that's what I have. And that is where your blade always comes down. So you need a good left-hand side dotted line. So I'm going to put my paper in here and line up. I want my cut to be right here at the bottom of this little shelf. Line it all the way at the top. Line that up with the left-hand side dotted line. But since this needs to be really precise and I don't want that brown to show underneath, I'm going to take this little guide right here. It's a little clear guide. It has a little black line right in the middle, and it's going to show you exactly where it's going to cut. And I just want to make sure it's going to cut where all you see is the little light brown shelf, and it does. It'll follow it all the way down, and it's going to be good. I have the straight trimmer blade in here, and I'm going to cut, and that is perfect. So I rarely use this little clear thing, but when I have a design like this and I really need to be precise where I cut so that it won't break up a pattern, I use this. There's one at the top, and there's also one at the bottom, and usually they stay tucked away up there where you don't even see them, but occasionally I pull them out and use them. So I'm going to set my trimmer aside for the moment, and I'm just going to demonstrate one page of this 2-page layout because kind of the techniques for both pages are very similar. So the first thing I want to do is mount this on the bottom here. So I'm going to grab my silicone mat. I'm going to grab this one since it's the size of this border at the length. And I'm going to use my repositionable tape runner on this mat. That way it helps me make sure I don't get any on my table. And I just put a few dabs all the way down. You don't need a lot. And then you're just going to mount this on the bottom. It is pretty easy. Pretty easy. Easy breezy. Okay, so now I've done this part. So now I want to do this part. So I'm going to grab my yellow and my brown cardstock that came with this National Scrapbook Day collection. Now, when you buy the National Scrapbook Day collection, this is an add-on thing you can buy, the pack of cardstock. And I always love to buy the cardstock because it coordinates just perfectly. So the first thing I want to do is to cut my yellow. And I don't remember the size, so I'm just going to grab my ruler and see what size I cut. And it's 5 inches wide by 3.5 inches tall. So I'm going to grab my trimmer, and I need it 5 inches wide, so I'm going to start measuring right there at that 5-inch line. Make sure it follows the grid line all the way down. Make sure it's straight at the top. So now it's going to be 5 inches wide, and then I think I said 3.5 inches tall, right? Yeah. So then it's going to be 3.5 inches tall. Make sure I flipped that right. Yeah, I did. Okay. I'll set this scrap aside because I can always use that for something else. And let's just make sure that's correct. That is the right size. Now, I am going to write on the back of this just to help me while I'm on this video not to mess it up. So when I cut a mat, I like a kind of a skinny mat. So you want to cut it 1/4 inch wider and taller. So that means since this yellow is 5 inches wide, I'm going to cut my mat to 5.25 inches wide. And since it's 3.5 inches tall, I'm going to cut it to 3.75 inches tall. So let's do that. Let's cut it to, here's my 1/4 inch mark right there. I'll line that up at the top. Make sure it's straight. Make sure it's straight up there and close. So now this mat is 5 inches wide. Now I need it to be 3.75 inches tall. So that would be, there's 3.5, so there's 3.75. Line that up, make sure it's straight on the grid lines, and cut. And this should be the perfect size to mat my yellow, and it is. So I'm going to put a little repositionable tape runner at each corner and a couple of dabs in the middle and on the edges in there. You don't need a lot. Okay, so I'm going to mat this down. And just remember, that's a good rule of thumb for doing your mats, is just to do them 1/4 inch wider and 1/4 inch taller, and then you're going to have a good mat. Well, there we go. There we go. Okay, now I added these stickers and embellishments, and those are right here. Yeah, pretend, yeah, let's erase this. I meant to put that on the back so you wouldn't see it. You always need a good eraser. Okay, now this one is going to go here, and this one is going to go here. So I'm going to grab my smaller mat to work with little things. I love these silicone mats. And put some little dabs on all the edges of this. And let's mount this down. It says Grown with Love. Somehow I have a stray sticker back here. Let me get that. off. And then I'm going to put some repositionable tape runner at all the edges there and in the middle. And just hang this little hanging plant down. And then I thought I like this, but I wanted a few little hearts, you know, in there just to kind of finish it off a little bit. So I added 3 hearts, and I used this little heart punch. It comes with the, it's a trio of little tiny punches that we have in our current catalog. Okay, so I did one in this light blue. So I'm going to punch one little heart in that. And there it is. I did one in this sort of terracotta color, which is this is the back of this paper. Now, I don't want to use a full sheet, so I'm going to use this one I already cut. So I'm going to punch one little heart here. And you get these other little things that you can save to use for other things as well. I'm going to move those aside. And then I have one green heart. And I'm going to use a scrap of paper for that. Okay. Another thing I'm just going to point out to you, because sometimes you don't have the paper this exact color that you need. So sometimes I might punch a heart out of the side of this, just so you know it's going to exactly match, because this came with the kit. And if I were to do that, I'm going to flip this upside down and put this in. Now, if I punch right there where I put it all the way in, it's going to punch out partially white. So if you just want to make sure, you can, if you hold it upside down, you can see where it's going to punch. And I just want to punch off the corner there and have a little orangey, kind of a terracotta color. And I've lost it already. I can't see where it went. So let's do another one. This is just a tip for if you don't have the paper that coordinates, you can always use a little piece off of something like this and then know it's going to exactly match your collection. Okay, so now I love my little lifter stick. This is a newer thing from Creative Memories, and I will show you why it is so handy. Now I want to put, I took the lid off, and this is a little gummy edge, and it's great for picking up little things like that instead of licking your finger, which is kind of gross because that's what I used to do. I'm going to pick one of each of these little hearts up. Okay. And now I'm going to put repositionable tape runner on the backs of them. I'm going to just gently hold it with my fingernail and put some repositionable tape runner. And then I'm going to put this one here. And, oh, I think I did the wrong side of that. I did. So here's another one. Let's get my lifter stick. I'm going to flip this over and put my repositionable tape runner on the back. Put that one there, and then I need this green one down here. And put that there. Okay, and I think that just sort of finishes it off a little bit. And that I would put that there with my repositionable tape runner. Okay, so I've already lost my, here we go. Here is my demo sheet. So I would put that up here with my repositionable tape runner. Just put a little dab at each corner, a couple of dabs there and in the center. And I would put that up here. I always craft with my repositionable tape runner for a lot of reasons, but it allows me to be able to pick things up after I've placed them. Like if I get it a smidge off or something, and then I can move things around, and that's great. And then over time, it makes it more permanent so that it's not just going to fall around or anything. But while I'm crafting, it makes it repositionable. Also, if you're working with little intricate things like those little hearts that I put down, this comes out in clear dots. So when I put that on the back there, if there was some extra that was going to tuck out past the edge of that heart, it wouldn't be like white or wet and gluey. It comes out in clear dots, so it only sticks to where it needs to stick. especially if you're using your silicone mat, the rest of it will come off on the mat. If you were doing it on your table, the excess would come off on your table and mess up your table. So I love these silicone mats. You can get these in a set of 3. I have this big one and this one and the border one, and it's $28.50 for a set of 3. Now you won't see these on my website at this point. They may be in the future, but they are things that advisors can order. So I could order that for you and direct ship it to your house. You could just email me at the email link in my in the information box below the video. So I love these things. So, and if you want to be able to order them yourself, you can just go to my website and sign up as an advisor. So go to michellesizemore.com and click join my team. And it's worth it to be an advisor, even if you just want a discount on your products and to be able to sell to maybe a few friends or just order for yourself. It's really, there's no ordering minimum. It's very inexpensive to sign up, and it's great. So if you're interested, let me know. But getting these mats is one of those perks. Okay, so the next thing I need to do, and then we're almost done, is to do my photos. Now, I've measured these photos out to where they would fit the way that I want them to. So I'm going to grab some white cardstock. Oh no, actually, sorry, I'm not doing white cardstock. I have these pretend photos, and they're just index cards, but they're 4x6s. So I'm going to pretend that these are photos and just show you how to get your photos cropped to the size that you want. And I would encourage you, if you like this layout, to just jot these measurements down so you don't have to go back and watch the video. Or you can always take a screenshot of the video where it shows my photo measurements. Okay, you could do that. That's what I typically do. All right, so this photo needs to be 6 inches by 3 3/4 inches. So it's already 6 inches this way because this is a pretend 4x6 photo. So I just need it to be 3 3/4 inches tall. So I'm going to slide this under my photo trimmer and measure up to 3 3/4 inches, which is right. Here's 3.5. There's 3 3/4. So I'm going to line it up there. And I love that you have all these grid lines on here. And then this shows you it's straight here, and you want to make sure it's straight there. Just gently put your finger here, but not way over here where the blade comes down. Just on this clear plastic and cut. You just cut 1/4 inch off. And that would be this photo here. And then these are 3.5 by 6, and you would use the same process, just do 3.5 by 6. Okay, so then I would add my photos, where they go. And then I have a ruled piece of paper for my journaling. I love this ruled paper. You can get it in a pack of 10 from Creative Memories. It's on the website now. And I'm just going to measure because I don't remember what size I cut this. So it is 3 3/4 inches wide. And I think it's 6 inches tall because it looks like the size of that photo, and 6 inches tall. So here is a scrap piece of that paper. It comes in like full 12 by 12 sheets. So I need it 3 3/4 inches wide. So I'm going to line it up with 3. There's 3.5. There's 3 3/4. And then make sure it follows that grid line all the way down. Make sure it's straight at the top. So that is the width I need. And then I need it 6 inches this way. So I'm going to need to pull out my arm and make sure my little thing is flipped out so it'll stay level on my desktop. I'm going to flip it this way, and I want to cut it at 6 inches. So there's the 6 inch mark on the arm. Make sure it's straight all the way at the top and cut with your straight blade. And then I would journal on this I really like the browns in here, so I chose to journal with a brown fine tip pen, which is this. It's round tip on one side, fine tip on the other, and I would just journal on this, and then it would look like this, and I would just mount it down with my repositionable tape runner. And that is how to do that double page layout. Thanks for watching my video, and I hope you have a really great day. Bye.